What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics. I'm Nico Weathers. I have a special show for you guys today, so please do not touch that dial because... Well, okay. I was recording the show, but it's okay to cut me off.
Sorry, I just ran a bit behind today. Ties, am I right?
Yeah. I'm not wearing one, but it's okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my co-host for this show, the producer of the show from Bowling Green State University and Lake Erie University, Dante Tolsdorf.
First of all, Bowling Green was a one-year thing, all right? And Lake Erie, we're not going to talk about it. So, anyways, how you feeling?
I'm good, but I'm more excited that they're going to get a great show from us. They're going to enjoy the hot seat, which is my favorite part. And they're also going to hear a lot about the Akron Zips football team and the men's soccer team. But without further ado, don't touch the dial because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. Welcome back. The Zips football team have struggled throughout the season, winning against teams that they should have beaten and losing against teams that they had a chance to beat or overcome. So without further ado, Dante, what are your thoughts on the Zips football season so far?
Honestly, I think it comes down to, it's a lot of momentum here. Mm-hmm. When you play teams like Ohio State and Auburn that are just, they have their national championships. I don't know if Auburn has a national championship. I don't know much about it. They do. Okay, so it's fair then. Two national championship winning organizations, right? Versus Akron, who, they haven't been the greatest as of late. So it kills confidence, right? And you go into each game just coming off a loss, right? Because I don't think they had any consecutive wins yet. So they haven't been able to build that confidence. But now we're in the MAC portion of the schedule, right? So MAC, I'd say the MAC is a very comparable conference for the Zips. I mean, they belong in it for sure, absolutely. So, I think going forward with this win that they got most recently, I think they're going to continue racking up some more wins.
Honestly, so far from what I've seen, we've beat the University of Bryant, or Bryant University. We've beat Bowling Green State University. I'm not truly sure on what other game they're comparable with, only because of the health of the quarterback. They don't know which quarterback they want. The running game, you don't know who's your true running back. You have great wide receivers. You have a average to decent offensive line.
I completely agree.
But with that being said, I think the Zips just need to run the ball more, quick dump passes, and get a better line. I've been saying that for the longest, but increase the people who eat red meat on your offensive line.
Oh.
But without further ado, here's Max with the highlights from the Zips' most recent football games.
Hello, Zips football fans, and welcome to a matchup between the 1-1 Bryant Bulldogs and your 0-2 Akron Zips. Let's get right into the action. With 3:28 to go in the first quarter, the Zips are going to open up the scoring on a 38-yard touchdown pass from DJ Irons to number 3, Michael Matheson. He found the separation, and he found the touchdown. Early into the second quarter, the Zips will add to that lead. DJ Irons will find Oren Singleton Jr., another wide-open receiver, for the 24-yard score. With 7:22 to go in the half, the Bulldogs are going to get back into the game. Zevi Eckhouse is going to find Mark Taglieri Jr. on the 4-yard rollout pass for the touchdown. In the first possession of the second half, close to scoring another touchdown, the Zips are going to fumble, and Bryant's sprint Ryan Sadler is going to make the recovery. Coming the other way, Bryant's Fabrice Mukendi pushes in for the 1-yard score, tying the game up at 14 apiece. Barely into the fourth quarter, the Zips' biggest play up to this point is going to come courtesy of quarterback DJ Irons. Irons is going to do his best impression of Lamar Jackson as he scrambles away from several Bryant defenders and squeaks his way in for the impressive touchdown. The Zips take the lead again. And if DJ Irons impersonating Lamar Jackson wasn't impressive enough, Zips freshman Kanata Mumpfield impersonating Odell Beckham Jr. should be. Kanata gets up for the wicked one-handed grab, extending the Zips lead to 2 touchdowns. What a catch. Keeping with the trend of big plays from the Zips, Akron defender Logan Hawkins is going to get the jump on Bryant quarterback Zevi Eckhouse, who fumbles the ball in the process. It'll be recovered by the Zips, by Michael Scott. Zips' third-year head coach Tom Arth sure is feeling himself after that one, as he should be. And that'll do it as the Zips take home their first victory of the year, 35-14 against Bryant. DJ Irons led the way for Akron with close to 300 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 136 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. What a performance. Following a loss at Ohio State, it's time to get right into the Mid-American Conference play as the 1-3 Zips take on the 0-4 Ohio Bobcats. There's Tom Arth getting some friendly pregame conversation in with OU's first-year head coach Tim Auer. An early Zips turnover is going to come by way of a Michael Matheson fumble, recovered by OU's Justin Burchett. The first score of the game is going to come by way of a 25-yard field goal from OU's Steven Johnson. The Zips, however, are going to get some of that momentum back as OU quarterback Curtis Rourke overthrows a pass and junior Charles Amanqua is there for the interception. That's his second pick of the season. Despite the tight coverage, Irons is going to find Mumpfield on an absolute dime for the 45-yard touchdown pass, and the Zips take the lead. With just seconds to go in the first half, OU quarterback Curtis Rourke is going to find Isaiah Cox, who makes a great grab for the touchdown score. Though called incomplete at first, this review here shows that he did indeed have his feet down when he made the catch. Touchdown OU. An early second half score will put the Zips back out in front, but not for long as OU's Armani Rogers comes storming right back with the touchdown. Following an OU field goal that'll put them on top, Armani Rogers is going to score his second TD run of the game, a mirror's image of the first one. The final touchdown of the game is going to come on a victory-sealing 26-yard touchdown run for OU's DeMontre Tuggle. Steven Johnson will make the extra point, putting Ohio up 34-17, where the final score remains. And with that, Akron falls to a record of 1-4, as Ohio picks up their first victory and improves to a record of 1-4. Between both teams, Ohio running back DeMontre Tuggle led the way. On 17 carries, he had 201 yards and a touchdown. Thank you for watching. I'm Max Aracey. Take care.
Max, that was some great insight on what you said about the Zips' most recent games. And Dante, like I said, I think they do need to run the ball more. We have talent all across the board. I do think we're going to win some games like Kent State down the road. I really believe we're going to win a Kent State game because I really don't like Kent State University. But it's okay. I'm an Akron student. We shouldn't like Kent State.
Running the ball, much like the percussion section, sets the rhythm, right? Like, it sets the rest of the game up, like the percussion sets up the rest of the band. They follow the percussion's lead in rhythm. Well, running the ball will establish, like, well, what rate are they going to be moving downfield, right? Passes are more burst-type plays. So when you have a consistent run game, you have a consistent offense. So, run the ball more, establish that rhythm, that tempo, the rest will follow.
So basically you're saying what I said, just be correct. Strong momentum, like you get the lead early, maintain the lead. Like we scored first against Ohio State. We scored, I think we had 17 straight points against Temple. Regardless, score early and maintain the lead in the second half. We struggle with that, but I think throughout the rest of the season, we're figuring out our identity. But without further ado, we're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, we'll be discussing men's soccer. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The men's soccer team have stacked up an impressive 6-3-2 record, also stacking up some impressive wins against top 25 teams like the University of Pittsburgh and a draw with the University of Indiana, who were both number 3 seeds at the time. Dante, I know you have a very in-depth analysis of the soccer season so far. Go ahead and give the people what they want to hear.
This is that fearsome, feared program that people know the University of Akron's men's soccer team to be. So let me get into it. Basically, one thing I've noticed in watching these games is whenever Akron gets scored on, I'll take Ohio State for an example here. Okay, Ohio State goes and they score off a set piece. I can't remember which one, but it wasn't your play ball and then goal. It was a set piece goal. What does Ohio State go and do after that? They send 11 back, 11 home. We're fine with our goal. We know we're not getting another on Akron, and we don't want them getting into a rhythm against us. So they drop 11 back, right? And they just sit happy, 1-0, and you can look at the score, and that's what happens.
Okay. Without further ado, here's Andrew with the package on the men's Zips soccer team.
Earlier in the season, the Zips men's soccer team faced off against the Wright State Raiders, and man, what a high-scoring game this was for the Zips. We get right to the action here with a goal by Akron's number 19, Dyson Clapier, at 15 minutes in. The next goal scored for Akron was at 32 minutes in, scored by number 8, Ryan Kingsford, assisted by number 11, Will Jackson. Then, not too long after, the Zips score another goal, this time by number 16, Juan Kuzriwan Kamau, assisted by number 9, Jason Shakaluk, and number 10, Renato Kazlarek. A free kick from corner by Juan Kuzriwan Kamau with a header by number 18, Ivan Nikolic, gives the Zips their 4th goal tonight just before halftime. Lots of support for the soccer team by the AK Rowdies and the student section happily cheering the Zips on. The Raiders attempt the goal at 42 minutes in, but is saved by Akron's Will Meyer. That will be one of the last plays of the first half. Akron leads strong with 4 goals and Wright State having 0. At the start of the second half, the Zips start off strong yet again with another goal, this time by number 10, Renato Kazlarek, assisted by number 19, Dyson Clapier, and number 15, Johnny Fitzgerald. At 59 minutes in, the Raiders score their first and only goal of the night. But the Zips answered back with yet another goal, this time by number 8, Ryan Kingsford, assisted by Dyson Clapier. And to finish things off was Zips number 7, Diego Pacheco, with the 7th and final goal for the team, assisted by Johnny Fitzgerald. The final score of the game, the Wright State Raiders 1, your Akron Zips 7. Lots of goals for a team that game. The next game we are going to cover is the game against the Yale Bulldogs on September 25th. The Bulldogs' record is at 3-3, and the Akron Zips stand at 5-2-1, coming back from a loss at West Virginia. We kick things off with a shot by Akron number 9, Jason Shakaluk, but is saved by Yale's goalie, Elian Haddock. But is also saved by goalie Elian Haddock. Number 8, Ryan Kingsford, attempted 2 shots for Akron. However, both were saved by, yet again, Yale goalie Elian Haddock. He was a huge problem for the Zips that night. Will Meyer, goalie for Akron, helping the Zips out there. There was a shot by Akron number 7, Diego Pacheco, but is blocked. And that will end the first half of the game with both teams scoring no goals. Definitely some great defense from both teams. Kicking things off in the second half is a shot by Yale, but is saved by goalie Will Meyer. However, Jules Oberg of Yale shoots not once, but twice for a goal. Both times are blocked. Another shot by Akron, blocked by Yale goalie Elian Haddock. There's a free kick by Yale, but is caught by Will Meyer. At 65 minutes into the game, Akron finally scored their first goal of the night. It was made by number 7, Diego Pacheco, assisted by number 15, Johnny Fitzgerald. A shot from middle of 18, he finds a corner and makes it. That was his 3rd goal of the season so far. The Bulldogs attempt a shot here, but is blocked, yet again, by Akron. The Zips keep their defenses up and make it to the end of the game, with the final score being the Yale Bulldogs 0, your Akron Zips 1. Akron took more shots for the game, however, Yale had more saves, with 7 saves total. This is Andrew signing off.
Thanks, Andrew, for the very in-depth analysis of the Zips soccer team's most recent performances. We're going to take our second break of the show. When we come back, we'll be breaking down the Zips volleyball game against Ball State, and doing everyone's favorite debate segment, the hot seat. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The women's volleyball team are 8-10 on the season. They've been struggling to accumulate consecutive wins for a minute now. Now, Dante, do you have anything to break down about the season so far with the women's volleyball?
Yeah, so I've been to a few of their home games, and this is what I've seen. They're not a bad team, okay? By no means. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, a lot of their games, the games that I've seen, they've been swept, right? 0-3. And it's shocking because it's not that they're bad. The games are close. As far as like the games within the sets go or whatnot, it'll be close. It won't be like they're getting blown out, but they just 0-3, right? And they're making plays, and it's just the other team's making more plays. Like that sounds very, redundant, but it's not that they're getting beaten by plays consistently. It's not that they're not making plays. It's just that the frequency of the plays they make isn't as much as the other team. But let's take a look at the highlights.
What's going on, everybody? Entering this game, the Zips women's volleyball team entered this game 8-10 on the season with a 33 win percentage record in the conference. There was a bunch of action throughout this entire game. However, the Zips were dominated by Ball State all 3 sets. Here we go. Ball State took a 1-0 lead after winning the first set 25-21. There were 9 Akron errors, and they proved to be very costly. Johnson notched 5 of her 12 kills in the opening set. The Zips trailed 24-16, but a 5-0 run closed the Cardinals' lead to 24-21. The comeback fell short as a kill from Ball State secured the number 1 set. Ball State up 1-0. The second set saw 10 tie scores and 5 lead changes. Akron was down by 1, 17-18, when the Cardinals scored 5 straight unanswered points that put them ahead 23-17. Ball State took the number 2 set 25-18. The Cardinals hit .400 while holding the Zips to a .81 percentage. Kelly led the Zips' offensive efforts with 4 kills. Atletta and Johnson paced Akron in the third set with 4 kills each. Akron trailed by as many as 8 points due to 7 unanswered Cardinal points early in the set. The Zips gradually chipped away at Ball State's lead, but ultimately not fast enough as the Cardinals won the third and final set 25-16 and took the match. The Zips were looking for the win, however it didn't come, but they still had some players have very strong outings. Sophomore Faith Johnson from Naperville recorded a match-high 12 kills as the Akron's volleyball team fell in 3 sets 21-25 to Ball State, inside the James A. Rhodes Arena. For the match, the Cardinals finished with a .286 hitting percentage, while the Zips were held to a .058 percentage. Senior Megan Kelly from Lakewood followed Johnson's performance with 8 kills, while senior Alex Atletta registered 6 kills. Senior Emily Wiegand led the Zips with 28 assists and a match-high 3 service aces. Until next time, back to you guys in the studio.
Man, that was a tough loss. I was really thinking that Akron was going to be able to pull it off. Like after the first set, I was like, okay, they can make some adjustments, come back, but unfortunately, that just wasn't the case, but I do not doubt that this team will be able to, cover up on their weaker ends and have a better season going forward. Now, for everyone's favorite segment, the Hot Seat, where we discuss all of your favorite topics. You can tweet us at ZTV Sports using the hashtag #TheHotSeat to tell us what to talk about. So, our first topic of the day is just men's football. Nico, what are your thoughts on the system so far, how it's been going?
Honestly, exceeded my expectations so far. I'm not even going to lie to you. So far, I expected us, and I'll just start listing off teams I expected us to beat. I expected us to beat Temple. Not even going to lie to you.
That's fair. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Auburn. Auburn's SEC powerhouse. They're a 5-star school out of 6 stars. Wasn't expecting that. I expected us to beat Bryant. I expected us to beat Bowling Green. Wasn't expecting the Ohio State game, and I feel like I'm missing one, but that comes later down the road. Regardless, they're exceeding my expectations.
I think I agree. They have been doing a lot better than I think a lot of people have thought, which is good. That is good. That's improvement. You always want to exceed expectations. I think they're in a tough spot right now, though, okay? Because they've had their confidence shattered a few times by these big-name schools. At least I think. I'm not in that locker room. I can't tell you.
The fact that the Akron Zips won 2 games, we want Bama. That's all I got to say. We want Bama, okay?
Better.
But now it's time to transition to the second segment of the Hot Seat. The men's soccer team, like I said earlier, 6-3-2 on the season. They were very dominant, and they put up very impressive performances against top teams like Pittsburgh and Indiana University, as well as West Virginia. Dante, where do you expect the men's soccer team to be at the end of the season? It's not over yet.
It is by no means over. And honestly, with how they've been playing, I don't think it's close to over. I think this team could go all the way this season, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, where I expect them to be, they put up very impressive performances. Like I said earlier, I believe home pitch, because it's a pitch, home pitch advantage matters. So with that being said, every time the Zips are at home, their home crowd is so, I love the AK Rowdies because they bring like a 12th man in there, you know, like football, like the Seahawks have the 12th man. I think being at home shows them so much pride and enthusiasm because their fans are nitty-gritty, diehard soccer fans, and we love the Zips. With that being said, they're 5-1-1 for a reason. They put up impressive performances, even if it was a tire draw against like the Indianas of the world, things like that. It's the fact that at home we have nothing to worry about. When they get on the road, I think it's the road element that kind of messes with them. I agree. I don't think they're properly ranked because what they've been doing against top 5 teams, because every team that they play, from Pittsburgh to Indiana to West Virginia, they were all number 3 at the time that they played. So with that being said, they put up impressive performances against them. I just wonder, I think later down the road when they stack up some of these easy wins against the lesser opponents that aren't top 25, I think when they beat some of them, they'll get momentum. And when MAC Conference comes around, I think they're going to run the table, and I think they're getting to the Final Four. And that's my honest opinion on the Akron Zips soccer team.
Yeah, I don't see anyone in the MAC realistically coming close to stopping this soccer team. I don't.
I agree, but since we're doing predictions, now it's time for the last segment. We're going to be discussing men's basketball and where we expect the Zips to be at the end of the season, or just in general, who do we expect to be the stars, etc. So Dante, I know we just lost Lauren Christian Jackson. He's balling out in France, but we do have a guy named Enrique Freeman. We do have a guy named Brian Trimble. We have people like that. Who do you think is going to be the guy? Who do you think is going to be the guy?
So you have a guy who can shoot like that. Mm-hmm. You say, he can hit with people on him. Let's get him open, right? And he can dribble. He can pass. So why not have him be all those threats all at the same time, right? So, and Enrique was just dynamic with him with the pick and roll, right? I mean, if you even come off of Enrique, Lauren's just gonna dump it off, right? So you got to think, who can do that? Do you see anyone that can do that?
Yes.
You think so?
He's really going to be the guy for the team. He has the confidence now. He stacked up a few more pounds on his weight because that was the biggest question mark, was he was a little too skinny to be the center of the team, if that makes sense. I don't know who truly is going to be the starting point guard. It may be Greg Trimble. It may be someone else. But I do know the pick and roll is still going to be there. They're going to lose a little outside shooting, but I know for a fact Enrique is going to be the star of the team, and I believe he's going to get them to a top 3 seed in the MAC. Now, MAC champions, I don't know. NCAA tournament, I don't know. I don't like making that early prediction because you never know about player health.
The way too early predictions?
Yeah, the way too early predictions. I don't know about player health.
But if you had to, what's your way too early predictions?
Way too early predictions, Buffalo and Kent State run the table in the MAC. Just don't quote me on it. That's all I got to say.
No, way too early predictions. That's what's slapped over it. Way too early. We know it's way too early.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the ZTV Sports Report. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ZTV Sports Report and subscribe to our YouTube channel at the ZTV Sports Report. Without further ado, my name is Nico Weathers.
And I'm Dante Tolsdorf.
Signing off. Go Zips.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.